Before we begin, pause again, but this time go a little deeper. Take a slow breath in, and as you breathe out, just allow your shoulders to relax. No effort, no forcing, just letting go a little more. Because what you are about to see is not outside you, it is already inside you, hidden, silent, but always active. And once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. Vedant sat still, but something was different. Not the room, not the silence, but the way he was experiencing it. Because now, he was not just observing thoughts, he was observing himself. And that created a strange feeling, a subtle awareness that something deeper was running his life. Not his decisions, not his plans, not even his habits, something deeper. So he asked, if I am not my thoughts, if I am not my habits, then what is actually controlling my life? The voice responded softly, your self-image. Vedant paused, because that word felt familiar, but not understood. What is self-image? He asked. The voice continued, it is the way you see yourself when no one is watching. That hit, because it was true. Not the version you show others, not the version you want to become, but the version you believe you are, deep inside. And that version controls everything. Your decisions, your actions, your limits, your possibilities. Because you don't act beyond your self-image, you act within it, always. Vedant leaned forward, because now this was deeper than anything before. So if I see myself as limited, I will live a limited life? The voice responded instantly, yes. Not because you cannot do more, but because you will not allow yourself to. That created silence. Because now he could see it. Every time he held back, it was not because he couldn't act. It was because it didn't match who he believed he was. Every time he avoided something, it was not fear of the action. It was fear of breaking his own identity. Because identity feels like safety, even when it is limiting. And the voice spoke again. You don't behave based on reality. You behave based on your self-image of reality. Vedant closed his eyes, because now this was becoming clear. His life was not random. It was consistent. Consistent with how he saw himself. If he saw himself as someone who overthinks, he overthought. If he saw himself as someone who delays, he delayed. If he saw himself as someone who struggles, he struggled. Not because life forced him, but because his self-image guided him. And that created a powerful question. Can I change my self-image? The voice didn't answer immediately, because this was not a simple yes or no. And then it spoke. Yes, but not by thinking, by experiencing. Vedant opened his eyes, because that was different. What do you mean? He asked. The voice continued. You don't change self-image by words, you change it by proof. That shifted everything. Because now, this was not about affirmations, not about positive thinking, but about experience. Small moments, small actions, small wins, repeated again and again and again, until the mind accepts it, not as possibility, but as identity. And that is where most people stop. They try to change themselves without changing their experience. And when reality doesn't match, they go back to the old self-image, because it feels familiar, safe, predictable. But change requires something else. You must act like the person you want to become before you fully believe it. Not perfectly, not confidently, but consciously. And that creates evidence. Evidence creates belief. Belief creates identity. Identity creates life. Vedant took a deep breath because now he could feel it. His life was not stuck, it was aligned. Aligned with how he saw himself. And that meant something powerful. If he changed that, everything would change. Not instantly, but inevitably. So he asked the final question: what is one way I can start changing my self-image? The voice responded gently: act once, in a way your old self wouldn't. That was simple but powerful. One action, different from before, and repeat it, not to prove something to the world, but to show something to yourself. Because self-image changes when you see yourself differently, through action, through experience, through repetition. Vedant smiled slightly because now he understood. He didn't need to become someone new. He needed to act like the version he wanted to be and let that version become real, step by step, moment by moment, choice by choice. And maybe that is the truth. You don't live your life, you live your self-image. And if you change that, your life will follow. Not because you forced it, but because it becomes natural. And now, just notice this. What is one small action that your current self avoid?